Hello and welcome to Mindful Wellness. I'm Diane Butera. This session is all about the foot. So I hope you have one of these. It's called a pinky ball. It goes by other names, but you can find them on Amazon. You can go to my website. I have links for finding your different props, but you gotta have a pinky ball for today. I'm also gonna introduce some other props, but that's at the end and they aren't as included into the practice as this pinky ball. You'll meet those props in a bit. So get your pinky ball. Have that handy. I'm going to set mine down because I want to talk to you a little bit about the anatomy of your foot. It's really helpful to empower yourself with knowledge about your body, right? So your foot has three arches. You have the medial arch, you have the lateral arch, and you have a transverse arch. Medial, lateral, transverse. When you are walking, you really want to have that really sturdy foundation. So that means you're going to feel 3 points of your foot. You're going to feel the ball of the foot underneath the big toe. You're going to feel right underneath the pinky toe, and then the heel. So right here, here, and here. So go ahead and stand up. Take a moment to see how that feels, to find those 3 points of support. The ball under the foot, the big toe, pinky toe, and the heel of your foot. Do it on both feet, so you really get a sense of that. I also want you to have a sense of your 3 arches. So broaden across the top of your foot, big toe to pinky toe side. Really get broad across the top of your foot, big toe to pinky toe. And then try to stretch your big toes forward and your inner heels back. That's your medial arch. Try to stretch your pinky toes forward and your outer heels back, lateral arch. Got that? It's a lot of work. But boy, are you enlivening your feet right now. So go ahead and relax that. All right, so let's get back to talking about how your foot moves when you walk. When you walk, what happens is you pronate and you supinate. I don't want to get too carried away with that, but when you walk, your foot flattens, gets wider. That's when you bend your foot, and then when you straighten your foot, it domes up, and that's your supination. So pronate, supinate. Pronate, supinate. There's also a little twist going on there when you flatten and when you have that dome. So let's talk about how that twist happens, and let's give some liberation to the foot. Cross your left foot over your right. Maybe this doesn't feel so great for you. You might need to scoot forward in your chair. You might need to slide that right foot out so that you're not so cramped up here. So let's get into the mobility of the foot. I want you to think about moving just the top of your foot. So hold your heel in your right hand, hold it really steady. Grab the top of your foot any way you want here. And I want you to roll the top of the foot up and then roll the top of the foot down. Don't let the heel move. So you're just really getting into that mid-foot, top foot area. Getting some nice mobility there. Good. All right, we could do that longer, but we'll stop here. Now hold the top of your foot steady, and now with your right hand, you're gonna roll your heel somewhat towards you, and then roll it away. I know it's not quite as flexible, is it? Not quite as mobile. But here we are starting to really mobilize the foot here, rolling it up and down. So we're gonna put this together, and you're gonna roll the top of the foot up and the bottom down. Yeah, that's what happens when you're walking. And then go the opposite way. Top of the foot down, bottom up. So do that a few times. I will tell you, the more I do this, I get so much more mobility in my foot. So it's really awesome for foot health. We don't want to miss the other side, so we'll switch. Maybe you already did your right foot or your left foot. Left foot's next, so you decide. I try to mirror you. Again, make yourself comfortable here. Some people find they have to have their foot on a chair in front of them. All right, so let's start with mobilizing the top of the foot. Hold the heel really steady. Make yourself comfortable and roll the top of your foot up and then roll it down. Keep the heel steady. Don't let it move. Roll that foot. I'm getting some nice mobility here. All right, hold the top of your foot and mobilize the bottom, the heel, moving the heel somewhat towards you and then away. Just the bottom. Look and see how that's going. Nice. And now we'll put that together. Roll the top of the foot up and the bottom down. bottom down, top up. Do that a few times. That should feel pretty good. Okay. So what's going to happen next is we're going to use the pinky ball. If you cannot come to standing, you can use this pinky ball seated. I prefer doing it standing. I feel like I can get a little more control with that, but you are welcome to stay in a chair. If you're still working on your balance here, maybe you have your chair nearby and you can hold onto it. I'll demonstrate here, chair nearby. Let's start with the pinky ball underneath your left foot, and go ahead and roll that pinky ball up and down and just take some time to see how that feels. I am not at all interested in you causing a lot of sensation here. Make it nice and easy. Don't use a golf ball. Don't use a lacrosse ball. Use something that has some give. Tennis ball's not quite right. All right. And I will say that for some people, this is still too much. And so this is called, this is a little Franklin ball. You can order it from their website. It's much softer, much squishier, and you can use this too, and noisier. All right, so if it's just too much sensation using that pinky ball, try that one instead. All right, put your heel on the floor. Slide that ball so it's closer towards your heel. So you can see ball's a little closer to my heel. Hands on your hips or holding your chair. Take a nice big inhale, focus breath. And on your exhale, lean into the ball. Remember, we're not trying to cause pain. It should feel good. You can do that a couple times if you'd like. We can take a really long time doing this, but I'm gonna make sure that we can condense this so you can come back and do more. Slide the ball forward, and then again, focus breath, leaning into the ball and come back. Just right. Good, slide the ball forward, and again, leaning in, you're using your body weight here. And then you're gonna slide the ball forward, you're gonna curl those toes over it. That is a big stretch. Remember your transverse arch? Yeah. Fascia is something that can really be easily treated with this technique, this pinky ball. So you're getting a big stretch. You might feel a little tight, maybe your fascia's tight. Then pull those toes up towards the ceiling and do that a few times, working with the transverse arch. Good. All right, and then roll that ball up and down again. That's all over the place. And then take your time, do a little exploring, roll that ball around, and you're gonna find a spot that's a little noisier than other spots. Stay right there, make sure you're comfortable. Maybe your heel's on the floor, maybe you're holding onto the chair. Do a little twist right on that spot, twisting the foot a little bit, maybe a little rolling or pulsing, maybe a little extra pressure. I found a very cranky spot here. And then barely move the ball, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and I will suspect that that's also a cranky spot. And you can twist, and you can roll, and you can pulse, and you can give it a little more weight. All right, we could do that for a while, but we're gonna stop there. Bring that ball so it's closer to your heel again, and give your foot a wave. So you're going across the foot, and then move the ball a bit. You're going across the foot, across the foot. And then one more time, let's do a nice trip all around the foot. Could do this for a long time. Please, please, please do not overdo it. All right, and stand off of that. Stand on 2 feet, arms by your side. Maybe close your eyes. Oh, there might be a big difference between those 2 feet. What do you notice? What do you notice? Let's go over to the other side. You're gonna bring that ball underneath your right foot, if you did your left foot before. And just take your time rolling that ball around. Maybe you moved your chair to the other side. You could be holding onto a wall. You could be seated. So take a trip around the foot here. Be sure you get into the medial arch, lateral arch. We'll get to that transverse arch in a second here. All right, put your heel on the floor. Bring the ball back towards your heel. Inhale into your upper back. Exhale all the way as you lean in. You might not have to lean too much. And back off. Slide that ball forward a bit towards your toes. Inhale. Exhale, leaning in. And let's go up the foot. And we're gonna get up to that transverse arch, I promise that. Curl the toes, you're right under the base of the toes. Curl those toes around the ball like you're trying to pick it up with your toes. It's a big stretch across the top of your foot, transverse arch, sweep the toes up. Do that a couple times. It can be a big stretch. Fascia can get pretty tight. Fascia is connective tissue. So you've heard of plantar fasciitis. It's an inflammation of the fascia. All right. And then do a little exploring on finding the crankiest part of your foot. And stay there. Do a little twisting. A little rolling, pulsing, maybe a little extra weight there. Don't forget to breathe nice long exhales. Don't hold your breath. And then find another spot. If you're holding your breath because it's hurting, that's too much. You need to back off a bit. And we'll do one more time in another section. All right, bring that heel onto the floor, bring that ball back towards your heel. Wave your foot, so you're going across your foot, kind of travels up the foot anyway. You don't really have to make a big effort there. Good, and then last time, trip around the foot. I know you don't want to stop because it feels so good. All right. And stand off the ball. Notice how it feels. Can you feel those 3 foot points? Right underneath the big toe. Not the toe, but the ball of your foot underneath the big toe. Ball of your foot underneath the pinky toe. Your heel. Balance your weight right over your medial arch and then shift 2% forward, just a little bit. Bring your shoulders up 2 inches, back 2 inches, shoulder blades down your back 2 inches. Very nice, that elegant posture. All right, so that's a little bit about the pinky ball. There's a lot more we can do with the pinky ball. I did something for the hands that's pretty fabulous. But I really want to talk about something else before we close here. Again, I mentioned that you may need to use one of these. You can get them from a company called Franklin. I might have got mine on Amazon, I can't remember. But I'm going to show you something else that you can do. So I have these tools, a little unusual, but this is a wooden knife. This is a rubber spreader, and again, this is obviously a teaspoon. All right, so I got plantar fasciitis for the first time a few years ago when I did a hike. I had some good shoes on, but I was walking on lava rocks. I didn't really grip, and it was a long hike, and I ended up with some pretty severe plantar fasciitis. I hadn't had it like that ever before. Someone told me about scraping, or what's called gua sha, G-U-A-S-H-A, and here's what it looks like. You take something like this wooden knife and you scrape. I'm not hurting myself at all, and you scrape like that. I have found all kinds of tools that work. They use very fancy tools when I took a workshop on this, but you can use something from your kitchen drawer. You're scraping, okay? So working with the fascia, you might use the teaspoon. All right, so I did this a few times a day for one day. The next day I could walk, because I couldn't walk before. Then the second day I went on a hike. I was very ambitious and it started acting up again. Thought, uh-oh, how am I gonna walk back? Took off my shoes and grabbed a rock and did the scraping, and lo and behold, I could keep going. So I do want to introduce that. Now remember, I started doing this at the beginning of the plantar fasciitis, so if you've got something that's been more chronic, I'm not sure how that's going to help you, but I did want to introduce that. There was a time in my life, oh gosh, in my early 40s, where when I got out of bed, I would hobble because my feet hurt so much with plantar fasciitis. It wasn't one of those things where I couldn't function through the rest of the day. It was just waking up in the morning. And nothing helped me until I started using these techniques with the pinky ball, working with the arches of my feet. You don't even have to have a pinky ball. But knowing how to enliven the arches of my feet, I could throw away my orthotics. I can walk barefoot. I think some people have to wear orthotics, but sometimes I wonder if it's more prophylactic than really a cure. So my opinion, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a PT, but I'm sharing with you what I've learned and what many people have shared with me after using the pinky ball. They've had a lot of relief. Again, if you have a chronic problem, you may have to use the pinky ball for a while. I hope this has been helpful. I really appreciate that you joined me, and until we meet again, be well.